Welcome to our podcast, Dusties, hosted by Bella,
Vivian, and Alyssa.
Today's discussion will be focused on the book, The Woman in the Dunes, written by Kobo Abe. Episode 1 will be the summary of the book and containing personal opinions. Now for the storyline of the book, the man, which is our main character, who has simply set out for the seashore on a holiday. The man was really interested into insects and he would look for them within his traveling. Within searching for the sea that he could not be found, passing through villages until there was no more, he started getting closer and closer to the dunes. The dunes is basically a desert with small rock fragments, including limestone and tinstone and others. While observing the environment within walking, he passes this old man who interrogates him, asking him if he was from the government. After the main character told him he just wanted a place to stay for a vacation, which was the dunes. He stayed there for a night with this old lady, and later finds out he's stuck there in the dunes. Now, the question that I have for you guys is, what do you think the dunes look like, or at least the house?
I think it is definitely important to talk about visual interpretations or first thoughts. I was imagining a lot of scenarios of what the house would look like, what the hole in the sand looked like. I was imagining a very stereotypical and simple rectangle with the little house and the villagers live there. That's what I imagined, at least.
I think it's honestly, now thinking about it, 60 feet deep. In the book on page 22, and I quote, "It was almost 3 times the height of the top of the house. And even with the ladder, it would still not be easy to manage." Now, that makes me think it really was super deep, and it even talked about it being dark, where you had to have a lantern to go down the ladders.
Making it dark makes it sound kind of gnarly down there. Sorry. But imagine all the bugs that are down there. Oh my gosh. Sorry. But, maybe it's a lot deeper than what I initially thought. You said around 60 feet, correct?
Yeah, I think 60 feet, because it's 3 times a house, yeah. So I was that's kind of crazy.
That is kind of deep. I think that the house looks like a straw house, and best example from what I know is a traditional Hmong house. Thinking about the house, I imagine it to be really broken down and wooden and all of that. As you mentioned earlier, looking like a traditional Hmong house.
Now, what I think of a wooden house, a Hmong house, if we want to show a picture.
Okay, excluding the pigs and the chickens.
Yeah, I think of that
This
too.
is what I would imagine the house to look like. Part 2. Nikki attempts to fake being sick, with the idea that if he appears useless, he will be let go by the villagers because he cannot provide them any more work. He asks his captors if he can have a newspaper, in which they provide him one. Nikki hopes that there'll be something else about him on the newspaper, but there was nothing. He wonders why no one has reported him missing yet. When the villagers see that he is not working, Nikki then ties the woman up to stop her from working, and the villagers notice this, but they don't follow his demand of letting him go. Instead, they threaten them by not giving them any more water. This plan did not work out the way he wanted to, but was still very determined, and he keeps the woman tied up. Eventually, he sees that tying her up will do nothing, and so he unties her. Nikki starts to tear down the house, and the woman attempts to stop his plans. They wrestle, but during it, they both become sexually aroused, and they later act on it. Still being stripped from water, the woman and the man have no choice but to work for their water supplies. One day, he finally makes a rope for his escape, while the woman is sleeping. He climbs to the top of the roof and throws the rope to the top of the dunes. He escapes in the darkness, and he eventually falls into a bog, where he now needs to be rescued. When I was reading the book, I thought that he does a lot of things, but none of it really helps him, and I think that me personally too, when I think about this part of the book, I usually like to imagine myself in these type of scenarios, and me personally, I would never just disobey.
I know what you mean.
I think that I'm a type to obey, especially if I am in a type of situation where the circumstances are I need to obey or else anything can happen. In this part of the book, our main character, Nikki, he kind of acts pretty desperate. He doesn't use his time very well, but even so, he's probably going through a lot of mental assertion in this situation, and so that's probably impairing his capability of being able to make good decisions. So, moving on to part 3 of our book, and this is the last part of our book. In October, Nikki comes up with another escape plan, in which he named it Hope. He will capture one of the crows and attach a note to it, hoping that someone will find it one day and help him. For some money, the woman has been stringing beads for a while to buy a radio.
Nikki's trap for the crow has created clean water for them, something that he did not intend to make out of this project. The dampness of the sand has collected into the hole, and he realizes that the threat of not being given water by the villagers won't be a problem anymore. With this, he becomes very excited and wants to see a different view from within the hole. When he had begged the villagers to let him out for a bit, they said that they might consider if he allows them to watch him and the woman have sex. Nikki agrees, and the woman tries fighting him. Some time passes, and it is now spring. The woman is pregnant and is presumably about to give birth. The villagers put down the rope ladder for the woman to leave for the hospital, but in this hurry, they had forgotten to take away the rope ladder. When Nikki notices this, he decides to not escape. Rather, he wants revenge. This part of the book, I feel like my emotions kind of went up and down like that a little bit. When he was being given this opportunity to basically escape, he didn't want to. It's been in here for a long freaking time. I think that's probably very stupid of him. That's all I can say.
For me, it's kind of like how do you not think of it right away? Like, I get you want revenge, but this whole book, we've been working up for you to leave.
And it's a little funny because I don't know if I'm interpreting this part of the book right. He has done so many dumb things, like tying up the woman, forcing the woman to do something, and then he just like what was that all for?
Yeah, that's how I feel about part 3.
Thank you for watching our episode, and we hope that you guys enjoy, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye guys.
Bye.